He stood in my kitchen, shirtless and barefoot, munching on shredded cheese straight from the bag. My shredded cheese, the pricey 4-cheese Mexican blend I'd splurged on at Whole Foods. Orange crumbs dotted his chest hair as he turned toward me slowly, his pupils dilated like he'd been staring at the sun for hours. My mom runs this HOA, he slurred, dropping a packet of taco seasoning onto my pristine hardwood floor. It burst open, sending a cloud of paprika and cumin swirling like a cheap smoke bomb. This house isn't even yours anymore, dude. I froze in the doorway, gym bag still over my shoulder, trying to process the absurdity unfolding before me. This 20-something overgrown kid had broken into my home and was now claiming squatter's rights because of his mother's role in our homeowners association. It might have been funny if it weren't happening in my actual kitchen at 10:30 on a Tuesday night. That's when I discreetly pressed the panic button under the counter. I'd installed it months earlier, hidden just beneath the granite edge, invisible unless you knew exactly where to look. My fingers found it easily while I kept my face neutral, locking eyes with the intruder. Want some water? I asked, moving slowly toward the fridge. You look dehydrated. He squinted suspiciously, then shrugged and went back to devouring my cheese like a raccoon with a gourmet habit. 7 minutes later, the cops arrived, red and blue lights painting my living room walls. By then, he'd wandered to my Italian leather couch, lounging in boxers and a cardboard Burger King crown from who knows where. It sure wasn't mine. Officers Ramirez and Lee stepped inside and paused at the sight. Brandon Mitchell, son of our neighborhood's notorious HOA president, sprawled like a bargain bin emperor, fingers crusted with cheese dust, explaining how his mother had authorized him to seize my property. Officers, he started, wobbling to his feet. Misunderstanding here. My mother, Karen Mitchell, runs the Oakwood Estates Homeowners Association. And this guy, he pointed at me with a greasy finger, he's violating bylaws. We're doing an emergency seizure. Officer Lee glanced at him, then me, then back. Sir, she said calmly, is this your home? Yes, officer, I replied. David Thompson. I own this place. Deed, mortgage, the works. This guy's a burglar. He broke in while I was at the gym. Liar, Brandon yelled, his crown slipping sideways. Mom said this property's under HOA jurisdiction for compliance review. I have rights here. But let's rewind to understand how we ended up with a half-naked guy in a fast food crown getting cuffed in my living room. You need the full story on Karen Mitchell and the iron-fisted empire she'd built in our once tranquil suburb. My name's David Thompson. I moved to Oakwood Estates 3 years ago. I'm a software engineer, mostly remote, and picked this spot for the quiet streets, mature oaks, and sturdy 90s homes. HOA dues were a reasonable $200 a month. We had a pool, tennis courts, and well-kept parks. It seemed perfect. What I didn't know was that 6 months before I arrived, Karen had staged what old-timers called the coup. She'd ousted the previous board with endless procedural gripes, then stacked it with her cronies. By my move-in, she ruled Oakwood like her personal fiefdom. Karen was 54, though she'd deny it. Her face had that taut, glossy sheen from too much Botox, and she lived in designer athleisure despite never setting foot in a gym. Her bleached blonde hair was always in a tight ponytail, and she drove a white Range Rover with a vanity plate reading Ho Queen. Her obsessions: enforcing HOA rules with inquisitor-like fervor and spoiling her 23-year-old son, Brandon, who'd flunked out of 4 community colleges and now bunked in her pool house. His job was HOA social media manager. In truth, Brandon posted shirtless selfies on the neighborhood app and hit on married women at the pool. He inherited her entitlement but lacked her cunning, making him annoying yet predictable. My first run-in with Karen came 2 months after settling in. I was in my home office when sharp knocks echoed. There she stood, clipboard in hand, face pinched in disapproval. Mr. Thompson, she said curtly. About your mailbox. My mailbox. She jabbed toward the standard black one at my driveway's end. It's not regulation height. Bylaws say 41 to 45 inches from ground level. Yours is 46.5. You measured my mailbox? I asked, stunned. I measure all mailboxes, she replied. Part of my duties as HOA president. 7 days to fix it or $50 fine. For 1.5 inches. Rules keep property values up, Mr. Thompson. That was my intro to Karen's suburban despotism. Over the next year, citations piled up, grass a 1/4 inch too tall, garden hose visible for 3 hours, Christmas lights down on January 2nd instead of the 1st. I paid up, fixed things, and stayed low-key. I had better things to do than feud with a power-mad homemaker. But Karen found new ways to torment folks. She did surprise yard checks with her tape measure and camera. Her newsletter's Compliance Corner shamed violators with photos. She even pushed a rule for submitting interior paint samples for approval inside our own homes. It died only after someone noted it was likely illegal. Brandon was her sidekick, trailing her, noting gems like, "That's not approved beige," or "Their trash cans are visible, Mom." Their duo was a sight. Karen babying him, trimming crusts off his sandwiches, boasting about her entrepreneur son. Brandon, jobless, lived off her alimony from her 3rd divorce. Brandon's chasing his dreams, she'd say. He's an influencer. Reality, 73 Instagram followers, mostly her friends pity following him. His ventures? A protein shake MLM, a 1-client car detailing gig, and a crypto flop that torched $4,000 of her cash. Karen stayed blind to his flops and the neighborhood's growing resentment. She thought she was protecting values. The drop in prices under her watch? Blame non-compliant residents. Tensions with me spiked over paint. My shutters faded in the Florida sun, so I repainted them, from bland beige to classy navy blue. Tasteful, not garish. I figured no approval needed. Bylaws focused on main structures, and neighbors had colorful doors without fuss. I spent a Saturday on it. They looked great. Monday, a notice taped to my door. Urgent violation. Unauthorized exterior change. Fine $150 plus $100 daily until fixed. $500 for painting my own shutters? I tried reasoning. Called Karen, left a polite voicemail. No callback. Emailed photos of other non-beige homes. Her reply, those have grandfather clauses. Yours doesn't. So I attended the next HOA board meeting in the community center. About 15 residents showed, all weary. Karen presided at a folding table, flanked by her 2 yes women, who seemed scared to cross her. During concerns, I stood. I'd like to discuss my $500 shutter fine. Karen didn't look up. The fine stands. Next, why are my navy shutters a violation when the Johnsons have green and the Parkers burgundy? Grandfather clauses, as emailed. Can I see documentation? Her head snapped up, eyes narrowing. Questioning my authority, Mr. Thompson. Just asking for proof on a $500 hit. Reasonable, right? The board decides compliance. Documentation's proprietary. Proprietary? These are community rules, not trade secrets. Murmurs rippled. Karen flushed. You're out of order. Disrupt again, and I'll remove you. By who? No security. Brandon. Outstepped her son from behind the coffee maker, in a DIY security tee. You gotta leave, dude, he said, aping tough guy lines. I scanned the room, some stifled laughs. Fine, I said. But this isn't done. Karen ensured it wasn't. Her next newsletter front-paged my house. Resident defies standards, shutters circled in red. It cast me as a selfish agitator tanking values. Then violations snowballed. Car parked 2 inches over my driveway line. Oak tree with excessive acorns. Doormat, excessively worn. Fines $50 to $100 each. Brandon started stalking. First, I caught him in my backyard, snapping fence photos. What are you doing? HOA inspection. Your fence has mildew. That's tree shadows. Looks like mildew. Mom'll fine you. Off my property, Brandon. Not really yours, dude. HOA has easement rights. No, it didn't. Leave or cops. He smirked, snapped more pics, sauntered off. It worsened, him peering over my fence at odd hours, leaving soggy brochures under my wipers, measuring my driveway. It's 36 inches too wide. It came with the house. Regs are regs. I documented everything, violations, trespasses, footage. Installed cameras all around, sensing it'd pay off. Shutters stayed navy. I ignored fines. Karen threatened liens, lawsuits. I researched HOA laws. She bent rules. No hearings for big fines. No daily accruals without notice. I drafted a letter outlining her breaches, certified mailed copies to the board. Expected back down. Instead, escalation. Unsolicited contractors quoting shutter repaints, random pizzas, junk mail floods. Then the break-in night. Tuesday, my late gym routine. I pulled in, door ajar, lights on I'd switched off. Smart play, call cops. But I suspected who, wanted proof. Entered quietly, phone ready. Kitchen humming off-key, fridge rummaging. Thermostat at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, AC groaning. Living room TV blared a trashy court show. In the kitchen, Brandon in boxers, like he owned it. My beers empty on the counter, my pizza baking, eating my cheese, rifling mail. What the hell? He spun, cheese tumbling. Then grinned weirdly. Hey dude, pizza's almost ready. Out now. Then the line, my mom runs this HOA. This house isn't yours anymore. He ranted, drunk. Mom invoked an emergency clause to confiscate non-compliant homes. I'd been seized. He was supervising. You can't take houses, I said calmly. We did. Mom says you're hostile. Hostiles forfeit rights. Bylaws, section 8.7b. Made up. Prove it. Absurdity hit. Remembered panic button from security upgrade. Drink. I asked, nearing fridge. Water? You look rough. Beer. How about Fresca? Pretending to search, I pressed the button, silent alert. No Fresca, but cops soon. Cops. Mom runs this. They work for her. Not how it works. He neared, cheese-fisted. Mom owns the neighborhood. Owns you. Owns this house. Pack up. He flopped on my couch, feet up, channel surfing, crumbling cheese. I watched from kitchen, awaiting sirens. 7 minutes. Lights flashed. Pizza's done, I called, pulling it out. Bring it. Instead, I opened the door for officers Ramirez and Lee. Mr. Thompson, break-in alert. Yes, he's in the living room. Brandon Mitchell. We entered, Brandon in crown, my bathrobe as cape, cheese munching. Officers, escort this guy off HOA property. Is this your home? Lee asked me. Yes. Liar, Brandon yelled. Mom seized it under section 8.7b. Sir, clothes on, Ramirez said. Don't order me. Mom's Karen Mitchell. She runs everything. No authority here. You're in his home without permission, BNE. Not when we own it. Officers traded looks. Hands behind back. Arresting me? Know who my mom is. Comply. He stood, crown askew. HOA immunity. Not a thing, Lee said, cuffing. As if cued, Karen's Range Rover screeched up. She burst in, loyalman clad. What's happening? Your son broke in, Ramirez explained. Impossible. This house is seized. HOAs can't seize homes. Her face reddened. Set up. Thompson harassed him. He's drunk, in underwear, eating his food. Arrest for what? BNE trespass, theft. Theft. Lee pointed. Whose robe? Mine, I said. Was cold. Brandon whined. He set thermostat to 85. Karen pivoted. Officers, neighborly resolution? Thompson won't press charges. I will, I said. Vindictive, she snapped. About those shutters? No, your son burglarizing me. After you provoked. Lee cut in. We're taking him. Follow to station. As they led him, Brandon grinned back. Not over, dude. Mom'll destroy you. Lean, kick you out. She's got a file. Brandon shut up. But he continued. She said make his life hell till he moves. Sounds like conspiracy, Ramirez noted. Lawyer up. Karen trembled as Brandon, in robe, crown, was loaded into the cruiser. Surreal. Not over, she hissed. Off my property, or you're next. She slammed out, a picture crashing down. I gave statements to a third officer, showed footage. Brandon picking lock, entering, roaming 2 hours, eating, drinking, robing up. He photographed the mess. Off record, he whispered. We've had Mitchell complaints. This sticks. By morning, neighborhood buzzed. Doorbell video of crowned, boxer-clad Brandon arrest, set to cop theme, went viral locally. 200+ reactions. Karen damage controlled. Emergency newsletter claiming I entrapped Brandon, called board meeting. Packed house. Karen at table, minions uneasy. As you know, she began tightly. Incident with my son and David Thompson. You mean burglary? Someone yelled. Alleged. He was inspecting. At 10:30, drunk underwear? Irrelevant. Thompson's smearing the board. I stood, responding to that. Out of order. Susan, a board member, spoke. Hear him. Glare from Karen, but crack showed. Thanks. Here's every violation. 73. Over $4,000. Grass too tall. Worn mat. Copies passed. Murmurs. None followed procedure. No hearings. Outdated. Karen protested. Bylaws you upheld. Plus footage of Brandon trespassing months. And your threats on voicemail. Gasps. Recorded without consent. One-party state. Legal, unlike burglary. Susan. Motion. No confidence in president. Seconded. Can't. Karen screeched, chair toppling. I've run this 3 years. Maintained values. Values down 12%, someone noted. Vote. 47-3 against her. Ousted. But that was just the start. News grabbed it. HOA president's son arrested in bizarre home invasion. Crowned arrest video hit 1 million views. Captioned, when mom runs HOA but jail calls. Brandon charged. BNE, trespass, theft, mischief. Bail $10,000. Karen paid, but rep ruined. Residents spoke. Karen fined Margaret for Lunar New Year decor, James for pride flag, Washington's for kids chalk. Pattern. Discrimination by race, faith, orientation. Fair housing probed. Brandon's pocket? Bump keys. Neighbors reported thefts, jewelry, cash, meds. Search warrant. Stolen goods from 6 homes in his room. Charges upgraded. Multiple burglaries, tools possession. Serial burglar label loomed. Fair housing fined HOA $50,000 for discrimination. Karen personally liable. Insurance denied. 17 sued her. Harassment, distress. Her ex-lawyer switched sides. DA-eyed racketeering, fraudulent fines as organized crime. 3 weeks post-arrest, Karen cuffed at home. Conspiracy, fraud, extortion, fair housing violations. Bail $100,000, house collateral. Brandon pled guilty. 2 burglaries, 1 B&E, 3 years prison, parole after 18 months. Karen fought, trial. Lawyer urged plea. She refused, sure juried side with her standards. Disaster, residents testified harassment, bias. I showed docs, played threats, footage. Jury disgusted. Brandon testified from jail, swagger gone. Mom said okay, teach him lesson. Do whatever to make him leave. HOA owns everything. Objections flew, but damage done. He revealed fake violations, purge list, targeting minorities, LGBTQ. List produced, my name topped, 2 dozen others. Karen's defense, broad authority. Prosecutor shredded with bylaws. Jury out under 3 hours, guilty all counts. Sentencing, impacts for hours. Margaret wept over feeling unwelcome. James on flag fines. Washington's on false CPS calls. Karen remorseless. Persecuted for standards. Neighborhood'll crumble. Judge Elizabeth Harper, you abused power, terrorized, discriminated, profited. No respect for law or decency. 7 years federal for housing violations, 5 state for extortion, concurrent. $200,000 restitution, $100,000 fine. 7 years. Karen gasped. Lenient, given severity. She collapsed, reality hitting. As led away, your fault. No, Karen. Yours. Heels clicked final time. Life shattered. House sold for debts. Oakwood reclaimed peace with a fair board. Property values rose. Justice served. What do you think? Share in the comments. Have you faced HOA tyranny or neighborhood injustice? Where do you stand on abuse of power and discrimination? Voice your views. Let's discuss how we combat such wrongs in our communities.